the inauguration tomorrow as a guest of Donald Trump. I interviewed you just hours before you went into prison, and now we're sitting here again together just hours before Trump's going to be sworn in.
If I remember correctly, we talked at least before and afterwards about how we were going to win this. Right?
You were quite confident.
Very confident.
So he's going to go out there. It's the second inaugural. You were an architect of the first inaugural, which was American carnage and a condemnation of everybody that was around him on that stage. Is he going to do it again? Is this American carnage 2.0? Because I'm hearing it's not. I'm hearing this is a very different tone.
No. Bring the country together, unify the country.
What does Steve Bannon think of that?
I think it's very appropriate for this. Look at the coalition we put together, what happened on 5 November, right? Look, I realize I'm, always on the attack, but he's president of the United States. He won this victory. He has a big coalition to pull together, and I think he's going to try to unify the country around a course of action that we have to take. I think he'll lay out the challenges, and he'll lay out the beginning in some sort of 60,000-foot level, what his policies and proposals are, but I think it'll all be about unifying the country and going forward together.
So does that mean all that talk of retribution is never mind?
President Trump has said, and I think in response to you, that his idea of retribution is peace and prosperity, is security in a new golden age.
So prosecuting his enemies, going after the January 6th committee, going after the prosecutors that went after him, Mark Milley, all that stuff's, forget about that?
I didn't say that. I think that is different. I don't think that's revenge or retribution at all. And I'm a big believer, and I've said this over and over again. I say it on the show every day. We have obligations to this republic that this can never happen again, and I think we got to go back to the beginning.
So what do you make of the fact that sitting there with him, I guess now we're inside, but you're going to see the 3 richest Americans ever. You're going to see Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, prime seats. That doesn't seem like the forgotten men and women that Trump talked about last time. Are you surprised to see that?
I am not. They're there as supplicants. They're not there as the oligarchs. Remember what Biden said about the oligarchs. Jonathan, you know better than anybody because you've chronicled this in detail. We had no power. President Trump was out, and I mean when out, the political class in the Republican Party and Fox News turned against him. We're going to make him a non-person.
He was banned from their platforms.
For, I think, 18 months. But as soon as Zuckerberg said, I've been invited and I'm going, the floodgates opened up, and they were all there knocking, trying to be supplicants. So I look at this, and I think most people in our movement look at this as President Trump broke the oligarchs. He broke them, and they surrendered. They come and say, oh, we'll take off any constraints. There'll be no more checkings, everything. And when Biden talks about that, they create the oligarchs. They only became oligarchs, and they flipped on them when they had surrendered, and now they're going to come to Trump saying, I view this as September of 1945, the Missouri, and you have the Imperial High Command,
the Imperial Japanese,
and he's like Douglas MacArthur. They're there to. That is an official surrender, okay? And I think it's powerful.
Mark Zuckerberg is there. Do you believe his conversion?
Absolutely not. I think Mark Zuckerberg's a criminal. I think in a properly adjudicated, yes, for 2020, for the Zuckerbucks. But I want to see that. I want to see that in a systematic adjudication, either in the House or, I think, better with a grand jury and a special prosecutor to go through 2020.
You want Trump's Justice Department under Trump to prosecute Mark Zuckerberg?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. What I want is the House to do it first. But if they're not prepared to do it, a special counsel set up that looks at the 2020 election and looks at it seriously and adjudicates it. If there's nothing there, there's nothing there. Zuckerberg's, road to Damascus came a little late. It was after the 5th of November. It's very, now he wants to be a bro. He kung fu fights. He's going to UFC. He's got his hair done differently. He's cut. That doesn't hack it with me. That guy will flip on President Trump, and he'll flip on us in a second. When it's convenient for him, he will flip.
I mean, there's no evidence that he did anything that affected the outcome of the election. You called Elon Musk a truly evil person.
Yeah.
It's a little harsh.
It was said in context. Let's see what he did is that he came out and he called American citizens. He retweeted something called "Our workers retards." Said that we were not up to speed to take any of these jobs. He said that the MAGA movement was a bunch of racists and that they should be turfed out of the Republican Party. And Elon, because he's tweeting all this stuff all the time, he may or may not mean that. But to me, there has to be an accounting for that. Now, listen, he's, like I said, he's done great things. He supported us in 2024. And that was a major reason that President Trump won. Everybody knows he supported the ground game.
When you go after Elon Musk the way you have, so harshly, do you get blowback from Trump? Does he reach out to you and say, "Knock it off. This is my ally. This guy helped me"?
I never disclose anything in conversation with the president or even with the staff or anything like this. But I would just duly note, I didn't see any leaks in the press about the staff or anybody having problems with it. So I don't ask them. My permission structure is not to go back and ask people for permission because I'm.
Well, if Trump told you directly, "Knock it off, Bannon. This is my guy," would you knock it off?
If President Trump has a conversation with me, I'll keep that conversation between President Trump and myself. How's that?
Donald Trump has them as guests down at Mar-a-Lago. He's at the inauguration. They're in his administration. I mean, I understand you're saying it's a surrender, but
let's be clear about this. Trump's not making out. And when you say guest, he's not making an outbound call. Yeah. They're stacked up at Mar-a-Lago like planes on a Friday night over LaGuardia. Okay, they're trying to get a landing slot to get in there and be a supplicant.
Elon Musk is basically living there.
He is living. He's got, I think, a cottage there.
I mean, Trump seems to like having him around.
I would see him. President Trump would let you know if he didn't.
So you have the following that is the kind of ground troops of the MAGA movement.
Some, not all, but we have a site for the information on the show.
So what do they want? What do they want? What do they
want? President Trump is what they want. And they got him.
What if he fails to deliver?
He's not going to fail to deliver. Is everything going to be perfect as the far right thinks it? No, it's not. And I never pretended it is. I do have a theory based on Thomas Kuhn's The Structure of Scientific Revolutions about paradigm shifts. If you shift the paradigm, eventually they're going to debate on your turf. And right now, I think if you see the hearings of the cabinet officials and see these ideas coming out, America First ideas, right? Populist ideas, populist nationalist ideas. We've shifted that paradigm.
There was no pushback from the old Republican Party, and you would argue not much of a pushback from the Democrats.
Jonathan, I'm shocked. I thought there'd be Republicans on the panel that were asking hard questions. I thought Democrats would be going nuts, and really from a policy perspective, I sat there. I think I saw the end of the Democratic Party as it exists and the husk of the Republican Party as McConnell and Paul Ryan hoped.
So when Trump comes up there and gives the second inaugural, you say it's not going to be American carnage again.
I think President Trump will go through how we got here, where we're going, what his plan is to lead us and to bring us together. He's a unifying figure right now because, think about it, this coalition, and that's why he has a difficult job. He has the oligarchs that have surrendered, right? And now
Bezos, Zuckerberg,
the oligarchs, all of them, and also the crypto guys. It's a whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
You have that. You have working class African Americans. You have South Texas and the Rio Grande Valley. People that are now prepared not just to stop voting for Democrats, but to vote for him. He's got kind of the hard right. Right, the MAGA. He's now got financiers. He's got corporatists. He has to hold. His thing is to hold that coalition together. But if you had to have somebody to do it, he's the guy to do it. That's why he is at the level of Washington and Lincoln. And this will be known. And when history's written, Elon Musk, Steve Bannon, Tucker Carlson, Jonathan Karl will all be washed away and forgotten in the footnotes. They'll know two things. And Pelosi will be washed away. Schumer. They'll know two things. Trump. In the MAGA movement. But this is changing American politics. American politics, as I said for years, is ultimately going to get a place of two alternative versions of populism. A populist nationalism that President Trump has built up, America First, and you're going to have some sort of still populist globalism that looks like the left may try to come together with.
We contacted